We now return to our top story of the developments in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack. Key developments have taken place. The global community, importantly, has stood by India. There have been condolences messages that have come in. The latest being coming in from Tulsi Gabbard. To talk about these key developments, joining me are two eminent guests. Let me welcome Yashovardhan Shah Azad, former Special Director, Intelligence Bureau. Also joining us is Sanjeev Krishan Sood, former Additional Director General of the BSF. He also served at crucial border postings in Kashmir. Good evening and welcome to both of you. Mr. Azad, if I can come to you, while the investigations are still on, from your experience, sir, if you could share some insights into the manner in which the Pahalgam terror attack was carried out. It was a meadow, a tourist spot. One would assume it would have been safe.
Yeah, it's a Baisaran meadow, about 6 kilometers up Pahalgam. It actually is in Anantnag district, but as the Lidar River goes through Pahalgam, there is also a dense forest around, and it's in from there you can go out to the lower reaches of the Pir Panjal range. It was a very well selected site because this is a very, very popular tourist site. And it is also one of the places where you have easy access to any of the forests nearby, and you can just melt away. And that's exactly what happened. It was of the terrorists' choice, the time which was selected, and that's why it really happened. It was very well planned and executed. And in fact, as you would have seen the Pakistan Army chief spouting venom against India, ranting over Kashmir and talking about the two-nation theory. It was somehow expected that he was almost planning this attack on his own. And from all indications, it does appear that the planning was done right over there at the head of the ISI behest.
Okay.
So it's the worst carnage which has taken place after Chhattisgarh and Mumbai attacks.
Mr. Sood, if I can come to you, now that the cross-border linkages of the terrorists have been revealed, how do you see, will it shape India's action and response to the Pahalgam massacre? Mr. Sood, if I can come to you with that question. We're trying to connect with Sanjeev Krishan Sood as well. If I can bring that question to you while we're trying to connect with Mr. Sood. Mr. Azad, if I may bring that question to you again.
Sure. One of the first things I would say is that the LOC agreement, which we have since 2021, has benefited Pakistan immensely, much more than India. It has been able to, divert about 70,000 of its troops on the Afghan border after the expulsion of, 1 lakh Afghans from Pakistan. It is already in a tense face-off with the Tehreek-e-Taliban. And much of its troops are also in Balochistan to crush the Baloch insurgency. Another part of the troop is in Gilgit-Baltistan to contain the dissent which, erupts every now and then. And finally, they are there to also protect the interests of CPEC because China had protested about the killings of the Chinese along all these projects. And so this is also giving a lot of time to the ISI to double down on covert activities in Kashmir. So how has the ceasefire helped us? I think the first thing which should be done, the option should be to abrogate this ceasefire treaty. In fact, in any way, Pakistan has said that in reply to our staying of Indus Water Treaty, it says that they have abrogated the Shimla Agreement. In any case, they never listened to the Shimla Agreement, and all the time they were bringing Kashmir to the United Nations. So in that respect, this is really strange that they are coming up with new things. And in fact, their defense minister talked about how Pakistan was used to help the Taliban during Soviet days in Afghanistan at the behest of America. And the best thing is that one of the ex-Pentagon official has said that Pakistan or the ISI should be declared a rogue organization.
Right. Mr. Sood, if I can connect with you and bring the same question that I wanted to get to you earlier, sir, about the scope of India's action and response to the Pahalgam massacre, especially in view with the connections, the cross-border connections to Pakistan, LET have been revealed of the terrorists. Mr. Sood, are you with us?
Your question?
Yes, sir. I was asking you about the magnitude of India's reaction and action to the Pahalgam terror attack, especially given that the connections, the cross-border connections have been made very clear.
Yes. So the initial response of holding in abeyance the Indus Water Treaty and suspending trade, etc., is an extremely good step. But then if we are considering some kind of military action, then a lot of thought process has to go into it. Because if we are not well prepared, it will be like Balakot. We attacked Balakot, they responded very swiftly, and we lost an aircraft. So we must weigh in all options before we initiate any action. See, since we have already done Balakot, the Pakistanis would be prepared. So military action at some small level along the LOC, etc., can perhaps be planned as a punitive measure. But if a full-fledged war is thought of, then we have to give it proper time frame. We have to ensure that our logistics are in place, our entire defensive structure and offensive formations have moved forward. So, but then that is long term. I'm reminded of the Bangladesh war when General Manek Shah said that if you want me to win the war, you have to give me time. And then he took time, he prepared his army, and then he proceeded to act, and we won the war. The result is in front of us. So initial response has been quick and justified. Further action, if we are planning to take, we have to factor in every aspect.
Okay. Mr. Azad, we understand that nations around the world have come and they're standing in solidarity with India. The latest, Tulsi Gabbard, the head of American National Intelligence, has also offered her support. How do these messages, these gestures, collectively and specifically empower India's ability to be able to avenge these terror attacks?
Well, I think this is the best opportunity to do it. In fact, after stating my first option, that is abrogating the ceasefire agreement, we should give a tremendous covert push to our activities, intelligence overdrive. We should block all social media handles coming in from Pakistan, and our sharing of intelligence with these nations like United States of America, Australia, Japan, all these should be further strengthened to get everything to be able to, because our target should be that if you commit an act of terrorism, we will take out the terrorists. That should be the reply from our side. And that is what we should plan for. In fact, our third option then should be that NIA should do a thorough investigation and prove the Pak complicity. We should share it with all the world capitals and our friends. There are people like Tulsi Gabbard who are waiting to support us. Putin has also supported us. And then name those terrorists who have been named all over the world and then go after them. That should be our option. And that is what you should deliberate upon and see with precise timing, proportionate, and right there, effective.
Right. Also, Mr. Azad, some perpetrators of the Pahalgam massacre have been identified as LET, Lashkar-e-Toiba operatives. It's a UN-designated terrorist group. There is also reference to TRF, which is the Resistance Front. Give us some insights about these groups and how they operate.
See, Lashkar-e-Taiba is the sword arm of the Pakistan army. In fact, Christine Fair, a known expert, has written a book in which she has said that out of the 917 Lashkar-e-Taiba's people who had been killed, if she went through the history and found they were as well educated, well equipped with all their faculties for joining even the Pakistan army. So a person of this kind have been recruited in in a terrorist organization. They are as good as an army, as irregulars. And LT and JEM are the two terrorist outfits which have been creating mayhem in India right from the beginning. And these are the two, hirelings for deniability. So TRF is basically a hireling of the Lashkar-e-Taiba, and there is another one, anti-fascist front, which is of the JEM. This is the kind of activity. They are brave people who murder innocent people, and all the activities, right from the parliament attack on 2001, either JEM or the Lashkar-e-Taiba has been involved. So most dangerous organization, and they are the ones who should be taken out in our attacks.
Okay, Mr. Sood, there's a flurry of activity and actions that India has taken, some of them being asking all Pakistan nationals to leave India, and also the suspension of the Indus Water Treaty with the neighbor. How do you see these developments?
These, as I already said, these are initial responses which are very good. We must tell them that this much and no more. So Indus Water Treaty suspension or holding in abeyance, in the immediate short term, it may not have any effect on Pakistan. But this provides us with an opportunity to build our reservoirs over the western rivers and utilize the water. Because if we control water, we'll be punishing Pakistan, because their crop growth will get highly reduced and it will put them in a lot of trouble. And this is one way of forcing them to stop their assistance to the terrorists. So initial response is very good. Secondly, the suspension of medical visas is going to be a very big measure, because a lot of Pakistanis, so as Bangladeshis, come to India for medical treatment. So these steps are extremely good, but thereafter, and as has been said by Mr. Azad also, a proper investigation into the incident is essential. In our anxiety to blame Pakistan, in fact, is complicit. There is no doubt on that. In the hawkish sentiment that is prevailing in our country, we must not forget that there have been several internal deficiencies which enabled this incident to happen. Point is, why was security not there? Why was there no intimation or intelligence available about the likelihood of the incident? See, this is the first time we have become complacent. You see, for last 4 or 5 years, there have been very few incidents in Kashmir Valley. That led to a sense of complacency amongst the security establishment.
Okay, and if I can take that point,
also amongst the intelligence.
That point, Mr. Sood, if I can...
We also probably shifted some of our troops to the southern areas of Pir Panjal. And therefore, we must also investigate why, firstly, intelligence was not available. Secondly, why there was no security. This is extremely important. Besides,
right, Mr. Sood, let me take that point, sir. Let me take that point to Mr. Azad. The kind of role that timely intelligence plays in averting such terror attacks, and it may be too early, but how can we ensure that such an attack proactively never takes place again?
Floating around saying that there are people in that particular area. But after all, you can't put forces everywhere. But Superintendent of Police should know exactly that if it's a very hot tourist spot, yes, security forces should have been there. No, we have to kind of reorient our intelligence and tactics now, because today the number of foreign terrorists are more, and they are coming in with M4 rifles, across the border. And there is no doubt that they are getting some kind of a local support. So our intelligence will have to reorient itself. We have to get more and more information from the ground. And that is the only way to avert more attacks. Because right now we have around 3.5 lakhs of, including the army and the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir. We can't pump in more forces. So we have to rely completely on intelligence so that we have pinpoint and precision attacks against the terrorists. In that respect, I totally agree with you that the intelligence we have to go through the basics and reorient our intelligence machinery.
Okay. On that note, Mr. Yashubhardhan Shah Azad, Mr. Sanjeev Kishan Sood, thank you very much for joining us on the News Hour and sharing your perspective.